This is Adam and Eve. From Genesis 1:26 and 2:25. On the sixth day, God had created. He had made first man, and he named him, and his name was Adam. So God also created a beautiful garden called Eden, and was the perfect home for everything that he had needed. But God gave Adam work to do. What was to take care of all that God had made? But Adam was lonely, so God said it was not good for Adam to be alone. So I'll make him a helper. So God had made a woman. Her name was Eve. Together, Adam and Eve had took care of the garden and worshiped God. God had created everything. God had made Adam and Eve, and God made me too. This is Genesis 2. This is Adam and Eve. After God had made the earth, he had scooped the dust and made from man, from the ground, and used it to form a man. And God breathed the life into a man, and his name was Adam. And then God had made a garden where Adam would live. He was in the place called Eden, of a garden had cleared with a river flowing through it, even where a lot of beautiful flowers and trees were fruit of Adam to eat. And in the garden, in the center, God had planted two special trees. One tree was of life. The other was a tree of knowledge, of good and evil. But God told Adam, you may not eat from the fruit from this tree. You would die one day. Adam was alone in the garden, and God had brought all the animals for him for company. But God had told Adam he would name them. But Adam was still lonely, so God made a woman. And he put Adam into the deep sleep and made Eve from Adam's rib. Okay, one day the snake came to Eve and said, did God really say you should not eat from the fruit of this tree? Yes, Eve replied. He said, that was we touch it shall die. That is a lie, hissed the snake. If you eat it, you'll become wise. And Eve had looked at the lovely fruit and rendered to eat willing, ready, and it made her rise. She picked the fruit and ate some of it, and then gave it to Adam, also to eat some. This is a tempted of Adam and Eve. Be careful, little eyes. Oh, be careful, little ears. What you hear from the Father up above is looking down with love. God had said to Adam, You must eat from every tree from this garden except this one. There's one that was forbidden tree in the garden. God warned Adam that if he disobeyed, he will die one day, and the evil one appears in the garden in the form of a snake. And it was a very cunning to find Eve alone and asking, Did God really tell you not to eat from one tree in the garden? And Eve answered, Yes, he did. You will not die, he said. You try it. So Eve looked at the fruit and looked at the good to eat and remembered God's warning, but believed the lie. She took the fruit and ate it. And gave some to Adam, too. Adam and Eve disobeyed God and also told the truth. But Adam and Eve did not listen to God. I will listen to God. Suddenly Adam and Eve heard the Lord walking into the garden. They were so frightful and shamed. They had hidden himself from to hear the Lord's voice calling from them. And God asked Adam and Eve if you had ate the forbidden fruit. And Eve gave me the fruit, Adam replied quickly. But the snake tricked me, Eve said. And God was angry with Adam and Eve and the snake. God had told the snake, You will have in his belly and eat dust from now on. And God had made Adam and Eve leave the garden forever. But God still looked over them, or loved them, and watched over them. What did God do? He made Adam and Eve leave the garden, but he still loved them and looked over and watched over them. In Hebrew, the word of man sounds like Adam. God made sure that Adam had everything that he had needed, prepared for food and water and sunshine. God meant that Adam ate the fruit would lose eternal life in Eden out of the garden. God was amazing powers. He did not always understand exactly what he was works. But the snake wanted the man and woman to give up God's ways of life. The Bible did not say what kind of food that it was. But when we disobey God and our own parents, that's hard to face them, but we'll feel better after talking to them. Adam and Eve had disobeyed God, and he commanded the world first sin. And God had made Adam and Eve into the ordinary people who would feel pain and had to work for their food. This is living at the garden. Standing in the needs and prayer. This is from Genesis 3:8-23. It is me, O Lord, standing in the needs of prayer. Adam and Eve heard the voice of God calling, Adam, where are you? Adam answered, we hidden because we are afraid. Then God asked Adam, did you eat the fruit I told him not to eat? And Adam answered, Eve gave me the fruit. She ate it first. Then God said, Eve, what have you done? She says, the evil one tricked me and told me I would not die. He told me it would be the wise as you are. Adam and Eve were ashamed. When God did, even they had disobeyed God. Then God said to the evil one, you have done a bad thing. God told Adam and Eve now, you have to leave the Eden and work very hard. It was a very sad day. Disobeying God causes troubles. Adam and Eve disobeyed God and had to leave the garden. And I will obey God by receiving his blessing. Obedience is following God's rules. Adam and Eve listened. We may obey God. The name means Adam, a human being, and Eve, life-giving. And the family son of Cain and Abel, which is the sons of Adam and Eve. After and others, the Garden of Eden, Adam's caretaker of the plants and animals, and Eve, the helper of Adam. Amazing fact that Adam had lived to be 193 years old, who named the animals in the garden Adam. This is the Adam and Eve story. They had disobeyed God by eating the forbidden fruit off of the one tree. They're not supposed to have touched it because it was the fruit of it was good. There was a fruit on there that was forbidden to eat. The Bible didn't say what kind of fruit it was. But if they ate it, they would die. There's 2 trees in the garden. And what were they? One tree was the tree of life. The other tree was the tree of knowledge of good and evil. That's the one they wasn't supposed to eat off of, but they did. And they disobeyed God. So what did God do? He kicked them out of the garden forever. And they had to work. But God still loved Adam and Eve. But he still loved them. and watched over them. But they disobeyed the word of God, what God had told them not to do. Adam or Eve have gave the fruit to Adam. Warning of God not to eat food and forbidden fruit. But they did. And they disobeyed God. And God was angry with them because they ate the forbidden fruit off of the tree of knowledge and will of the garden and stuff. But who did Adam or Eve say? Knowledge of good and evil tree. That's the tree they ate off of. Not the tree of life, which they could have ate off that one. That was that one forbidden tree in the garden that they wasn't supposed to eat off of. Those two were in trouble with God. Adam told God, Eve gave me the fruit. And then God said, talking to them, they were hiding from God because they were scared, afraid of God. What was that evil one saying? The snake hissing at them. That it was a lie not to eat from the fruit, that they would be wise. Don't listen to the snake, you guys. They are evil. The snake had to eat the dust for life. God was not happy with it. Nobody. Not Adam and Eve or even the snake. But Adam and Eve was the caretakers of the animals in the garden and the plants. But not no more. Because they was kicked out of the garden. Still took care of the plants and stuff, but they did not live in the garden no more. Bad. Too. That God had made them out of dust. And then he made Eve out of Adam's ribs. He put Adam to sleep to do this, to make him a woman and wife. And they had two sons, Cain and Abel. And what are those two boys in the Bible? And I love you guys, and I hope you enjoyed this video about Adam and Eve. It's the truth of the Bible. If you read it, Genesis, say, I will obey and receive his blessings. They had to leave the garden because they ate off the forbidden tree. This is the end of the video.